Well, hello. Welcome back to another exciting edition of Coffee with Stephen. So, over the last few weeks, we've all been in this COVID-19 environment, supposedly adhering to our governor's stay at home orders. And this has given a unique opportunity for a high degree of introspection, philosophical introspection. First and foremost, I have to tell you, I think a lot of the orders that have come out of Sacramento are patently unconstitutional. I think that some of the tactics that law enforcement agencies have been using in order to facilitate the governor's orders, I think, are unconstitutional in and of themselves. That all notwithstanding, without getting into the merits of whether or not staying at home was beneficial or anything along those lines, I did want to write a blog about what it means to be free. We've heard the term freedom being used a lot over the last number of years. And I think there has to be a discussion as to what that actually means. And in the blog, I reference a conversation that I had a number of years ago with a girl that I was going to law school with. She was a communist, and that's not hyperbole. That's not she would say that she was a self-described communist. She had a graduate degree in economics and was very, very oriented towards the idea that virtually all social ills could be ascribed to economic conditions. And we had a number of discussions and debates and everything else. And this one particular time I had asked her, can you be free in a communist regime? And her answer was very enlightening. She talked about freedom in two facets. The first aspect of it was that freedom for her was freedom from having to struggle in order to find basic economic necessities. The only way effectively in a capitalist society to be free is to have at least a certain base minimum of disposable capital so that you can go and buy food, right? Freedom also was important to her from the standpoint of the state. The state had actually taken on an organic quality. You know, a lot of times we'll see, usually leftists, get very, very upset at the idea that corporations are treated as essentially organic creatures, with rights and privileges and things like that, when a corporation is nothing more than a gathering of people. And yet, this same group of people that deride the idea of corporate entity status also, typically speaking, love the idea of the state having a sort of an organic quality. And I explore that in the blog. I think it's important to understand that, number one, there is a classical idea of American freedom. That idea really sort of manifested during the Revolution, and it took different ideas of freedom and kind of merged them all together into this unique American experience. And then beyond that, there's the idea of states having unique rights. In the stay that was issued against the preliminary injunction in Rodi v. Becerra, one of the things that Xavier Becerra was trying to articulate was that this would harm, by allowing a preliminary injunction to go through in Rodi versus Becerra, this would cause a harm to the state. The state had certain rights that needed to be protected. As you probably know from having listened to me in the past or having read some of my work, I'm completely antithetical to that approach. That notwithstanding, I think it's important to review and to ruminate on. As always, I hope you enjoy the blog. If you have any questions or you'd like to comment, you can always do so directly on the blog, or you can email me at stephen@artemishq.com. As always, train constantly, train consistently, train repetitively, and train with purpose. Above all else, stay safe. Oh, and wash your hands.